This is Keep It Real with Dr. Denise McDermott and Jarnell Stokes. I'm Kathleen O'Toole, mother and journalist, and we have Dr. Denise. She is a mother, a board-certified adult and child psychiatrist, as well as a prolific podcaster. And of course, our Jarnell Stokes, a professional basketball player, proud brother, author, entrepreneur, and more. Good morning, guys. Welcome.
Yay, and happy Mother's Day.
Happy
Mother's Day to your mom too, Jarnell.
Yeah, I talked to her this morning. It went great.
Yay.
So today we're honoring maternal energy. I love how Dr. Denise frames things. It's like very, very important, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is important because I think, of course we know the traditional Mother's Day. I'm a mother, and I also want to send a lot of love to all the different types of mothers in the world. There's kinship mothers, there's mothers to be. At one point I had found out I had infertility and I didn't know if I could be a mother. So I also want to send a lot of love to those who are trying to have a family. And we're going to honor all types of nurturing and maternal energy today. And happy Mother's Day to you, Kathy.
Well, take us through some.
I want to send some love too to all the kids and sons and daughters out there struggling right now to go find a gift so they don't screw things up today. Just a shout out. First, let me ask you guys, how is that? Is it the end of the world not receiving a gift? Does that mean he could not love you on this day?
Oh, I love that. Truthfully, my mom said to me, what do you want? Because we usually get each other things. I said, Mom, I'm just so grateful for health and food, shelter, and clothing, because we're at this time with the pandemic with unemployment, and we're hoping that we can shift things or help one another. So I don't care about a gift. I care about health, and I care about happiness.
So in my house, it's kind of Jarnell, my husband takes charge a bit because the kids are little. And so sometimes I drop little hints saying, oh yeah, there's a big day coming up, because sometimes I wonder if he'll remember. But at my house this morning, they came in with a tray of food for breakfast. Even if I'm not really hungry, I eat it. My coffee, papers.
Oh, nice. And what happens if they don't bring you that meal to the room, or they just forget?
Well, because my husband keeps track, they haven't. But I mean, I can think that someday, maybe when they're in college or whatever, that they might get busy and forget, because I think probably I did that at that age, teenager. Yeah. But I mean, it's not about really flowers or tea or anything like that. It's just about that unbreakable bond between people, right?
There you go. Go. Love it.
So I think we're having a little technical difficulty with Dr. Denise. You had provided some pictures.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, that was at the Nuggets. That was right after the Grizzlies game, my hometown. A dream come true to be able to play against your hometown team.
I could only imagine. Now, my first question about the picture is really kind of a surface one, but you're super tall, right?
Yeah.
You're what?
Yeah.
6 something?
6'9".
Your mom is not short.
Yeah, she's 6'1", 6'2". If you ask her though, she's 5'11". She swears up and down she isn't 6 feet. So yeah, I can't say that on this podcast, but she's pretty tall. I respect her. I love her. Wow. This is like heartwarming just to see this picture. It's from so long ago.
What's your mom's name?
Shantae Stokes.
Oh, well, happy Mother's Day to her.
Happy Mother's Day.
I would love to meet her, or maybe we can even, if she feels comfortable. I know my mom would be like, no, I don't want to be on the show. My mom would be like, no, but it's just so nice because I know you, and I think of all the love that your mom put into raising you, all the practices, the games, making sure you get food, right?
Yeah, they were definitely there, like 100% for all of my brothers. And my mom, now she's like the nicest person in the world, but back then she was quick to grab a switch. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the single moms out there too. Like it's a huge accomplishment. Yeah, seriously, because like when I was young, for instance, I was the bad kid. I was the weird kid. I was the one always getting into trouble. And with that being said, my mom would try to whoop me. Once I got to like 12, 13, it was all laughter. I laughed at her whoopings a couple times. And I only say that to say that, I feel for a lot of the single moms taking a place for men. And, I just have the utmost respect for that.
Wow, thank you for saying that, because my son, I have a very amicable divorce, and
Mm,
actually we do really great co-parenting, but my
mm,
son definitely respects his dad's masculine energy.
mm-hmm.
And I try to set limits. He's like, well, you're not going to do that. And by the way, my son and I have a great relationship. And I will kind of take ownership that I think you have to have really clear boundaries when you're a single mom.
Mm,
And sometimes I let him stay up a little later, and he's like, are you really going to make me go to bed? So I could do a little bit firmer stuff too.
yeah.
But I love being a mom, and I think a lot of households and all around the world have different types of blended families. There's
Mm,
kinship families
mhm,
where we know that grandparents or aunts or uncles have a big influence, especially right now. If you're an essential worker working at Target, or doctors or nurses on the front line, a lot of people are having troubles finding childcare because people are in social isolation. So I
mm.
just want to also just give a shout out to everyone that's pitching in and nurturing right now, because it takes a village to make a child safe and happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Denise, let's have you show some of the pictures that you provided.
Okay, great. Well, I think the first one, and by the way, I had to ask permission because my mom doesn't like her picture.
Mm.
Even she doesn't even like to take photos. So I
Uh,
just want to give a shout out to my mom, Barb. There's my mom and
hey,
I.
mom.
My mom's on the right. That's Barbara. And I love her so much. In fact, she's a big grounding factor for me. I
Mm,
get so excited and creative in this. And sometimes her one-liners feel like she's almost like critiquing, but in reality, it's a good balancing. So I find her as like a really like best friend, non-judgmental. And then on the other side, I want to also give a shout out to all the aunts in the world. That's my Aunt Nancy, and I
mm,
consider her a matriarch. There's a lot of times in a family unit that there's one or two people that really do all the family get-togethers. And I grew up in the Midwest in Schaumburg, Illinois, the suburbs of Chicago, and my family always had dinners like every 4 to 6 weeks. And Aunt Nancy provided the most amazing like household like parties and events. And so I just want to like, to me, that's what makes a childhood time with family. And so people like Aunt Nancy's and the grandmas need to be honored too.
mm.
And then I think we wanted to move on to the next people. There's all kinds of different moms.
Yep.
I think we wanted to look at, oh, okay. So everyone, I just want to give a shout out to Rory McMullen. That's Kieran's birth mom.
Oh,
I
nice.
am an adoptive mom.
Yeah.
And Rory picked me. It was a private adoption, and it's
Mm,
an open adoption. And we still are in touch. And on the right-hand side, Rory had another baby, Irish, with a different birth father, almost like 13 months later. And
wow.
so that's a picture of Rory, myself, Kieran, and Irish.
Oh, wow.
Kieran, is so excited to have a brother in his life. And that's Kieran and I. That's my son, Kieran. And he is really photogenic. It's not easy to get him to take pictures, though. In fact, he really is like, no, Mom. And he's even like, Mom, I think you're addicted to selfies.
You know what? That's the opposite, Jarnell, of your sister who's 12, who loves to
Mm,
take photos. It's a
yeah.
gender thing sometimes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
yeah. She's definitely my heart. Like, I love her so much. She was 10 years old in this picture. And, now her being 12 years old, it's a huge jump, like a huge jump. So this is like heartwarming to see us hugging and smiling. And
Well,
her looks so innocent right now. I freaking love it, man.
you know what I want to say, everyone? There's such a blend. We talk about Mother's Day, but there's feminine and masculine energy. And I even have a hard time even with those terms, because
Mhm.
if we want to put that picture back up of Jarnell and his sister, you can see there's that protective older brother, and we think protection when we think masculinity, but Jarnell's also, I think men and women can be both masculine and feminine in their energy, because Jarnell's book, Wings to Fly, is so inspiring to me, because he wanted to give his sister and other kids around the world different ways of believing in themselves, maybe when they don't believe, how to be inspired if you ever get bullied. So I think, Jarnell, I know that you're not a father and you're an incredible brother, but I think you have a level of nurturance and a level of protection. And I think that those are really important traits to celebrate.
Jumping in, Jarnell, my mom saw you talking about on Keep It Real about your sister and your worry for her.
Yeah.
And my mom was so touched. She's like, oh, that is so sweet. Like, I think Dr. Denise can help with like explaining it more, but like the maternal energy celebrates other nurturing acts. And it doesn't matter that you're a guy doing it. She was like, she loves the nurturing side of you that came out with worrying about your sister and 12-year-old girl stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I was the same way with my younger brother, who is with me right now, Azel, in which, you know, he may have thought I grew up angry at him, disappointed. You know, I considered I thought he didn't work hard. And at certain times I was really, really more physical with that nurturing ability. And with that being said, you know, we are able to put it all behind us, and I feel like a great big brother because I've been able to be a good influence. And I say all this to say, just with my sister, I am definitely worried because this is new for me. I can't get physical. You know, I have to mentally stimulate her in a way to where she understands why. And I think that's the biggest issue right now in this generation of parenting. And I'm not a parent, so I'm not an expert at all. But what I see with my own eyes is that parents, and even in the past, they aren't explaining why. When kids are just freaking smart, like we can look up everything. Like she can literally find whatever she wants. Like the world just conspires to give it all to you, no matter what age now. And you know, just me being a brother, I feel more protective. I feel better
I want
being
to jump
protective.
in. I know I'm frozen, but I want to jump in. And I love what Jarnell said. As a parent, and Kathleen can weigh in too, my son's being exposed to so much. And so my biggest advice for all parents is to meet your child where they're at. And I go and I explain qualitatively why I'm doing something. And I even say, I am your mother. And this is why. It's my job to keep you safe, to protect you, to nurture you. And then I face him head on. He loves rap. He knows things. He's 11. And this is that time where they teach him about the birds and the bees. And they essentially, there's all these terms that are like, whoa, like super advanced that I didn't even know that are in some of the rap songs. And then I just told my son, listen, I have to talk with him about respect, how you talk to each other, men and women, sex. I talk to him in a real more like factually, this is how babies are born. I talk to him about people can make love, they can share. And then he gets all embarrassed, like, Mom. But I'm like, hear him. If you're going to bring up these terms, I'm going to go and give you the balanced approach. And I think it's our job to monitor what our kids are watching and seeing and really meet them where they're at and have discussions.
Definitely.
Dr. Denise, I know you were going to go, before you show some of your pictures talking about other kind of maternal energy, I wanted to show mine because mine are more traditional before we move on.
Yeah.
I was telling you guys that when I was kind of a teenager, so this is my mom. This is an old picture. So my dad didn't wear his socks like that. Well, he did forever, actually. That's my mom and my dad. He's got a Miami hat on, see Jarnell. Yeah, and that's my sister. And the reason I chose this picture was because my sister had a disease that she was born with that she fought for her whole life, and she finally died from it. And the idea of being a mother of a chronically ill child is a special kind of motherhood that you can't even imagine, when you have to leave work at a minute notice because your daughter's going back in the hospital, and the love and the commitment, you know, and some families don't last through that. but my mother's strong heart and strong affect. She's like super. She's not 6'1". She's
Yeah.
only 5'8", but she's like powerful in what she can like push through and help our family take my sister to as far as we can. Dr. Denise, do you want to jump in? Because you're always
Yeah. Well, so first of all, everyone, my Zoom screen's freezing, so it's still on the wings to fly. So this is a great way of showing how to be adaptable socially in this age of internet and pandemic. And I think facial expressions are so important. And I just want to, I'm doing the best I can, and everyone knows I have facial expressions, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
basically, I just want to like pause. I want to send love to any mom or father or sister or brother who's ever had someone in their life that's had a chronic illness. The level of nurturing and support is unimaginable that we have to do when we have someone. And by the way, I want to just give a shout out to Jan, your mother. I've known Kathleen since we were 11 years old. We grew up together in Schaumburg, Illinois. Speaking of nurturance, in fact, this might be a good time for Kat to put that picture of Kathleen and I up on the screen, and we'll go back to Kathleen's pictures. But I just love this woman, Kathleen, and I've known her, and this is what makes a nurturing friendship. And Kath, I remember the first time on the Schaumburg High, we went to Schaumburg High, go class of 88. I remember on the steps of the high school.
Oh my God. That was another century.
I know, but that's funny. That's okay, everyone. It's okay. I'm proud of how I look and who I am and the wisdom I bring to the table. So essentially, Jarnell, Kathleen decided that she could confide in me at age 14 when we were freshmen in high school. She didn't want, they wanted, like maybe many of you can realize this. If you have a chronic illness or a challenge, you still want to live your life. You don't want to be treated differently. And so Kathleen's family at that time was very protective of who gets to know about Megan's cystic fibrosis. So what I want to say, Kathleen, is that Megan's spirit, the spirit of who she was and is, and the spirit of many people with chronic medical problems can be so inspiring. And Megan went on, her sister, Jarnell, went on to graduate law school, get married, travel the world. So even though, you know, she passed away in her 30s, she lived the most amazing life one could. And I know we've got to move on, but I just want to honor that because there's people out here listening.
So that's my sister and I. We were at Hoover Dam, and we were straddling two states. We thought we were really cool. But this is, I like this picture because Megan was younger than me a bit, and you'll get this, Jarnell, because of your sister, that I kind of felt like maternalistic towards her. Like I was old enough when she was born that I'm like, oh, a baby, like I got it all, right? And then as she grew, I could help her and kind of nurture her a bit. And in many times I cared for her physically when she was ill, when we lived together in Miami. So, but just that just because you're siblings doesn't mean there can't be like a paternalistic or maternalistic feeling. And that's how I felt for her. It's funny, as they get older, and I bet you know with Isaiah, your brother, that as they get older though, like they start providing you some of that energy because they start having their own life, and they end up being wise counsel, right?
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but just so you know, my screen, and this is okay for everyone, but I just need social cues. So thank you for saying which photo it was, because I don't even know what photos you're looking at. So before you guys do a photo, let me know so I can say it, even when I do my other slides. Thank you.
Okay.
Kat's going to help us too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Dr. Denise, the maternal energy.
Can we talk about the maternal energy? So basically, Kathleen, just like your energy, Jarnell, towards your sister, we're talking about energy and nurturance towards siblings and family members. And Kathleen, I know, because Kathleen told me all the times where she would take her sister to the hospital. So I also want to send a lot of love out there to parents and moms whose children are no longer with them, and to siblings who cared for those kids. And then my own sister, I'm the oldest too. My sister, I have that very nurturing feeling. So I think it's really important that we honor all the maternal energy.
Dr. Denise, talk to us about your time in India and the maternal energy that manifested there.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so I think you see the slide. It's the slide of Lama Tenzin, myself, and then the other one with the kids. Yeah, so Lama Tenzin is a Buddhist monk I see him as father of the universe. In fact, when he and I talk, he talks in terms of, he's like, Denise, you're mother of the universe, or mothers can be mother of the universe. So that picture on the right, or I don't know which one, it's the picture with myself teaching the kids how to swim. I consider those children, which by the way, guys, I taught the kids how to swim in India in a pool with no chlorine. So that looks like a little happy picture, but I was very worried.
That's humbling too.
I said a prayer. I'm like, oh my gosh, please, please let me not get super sick doing this swim lesson.
How did the kids treat you?
What'd you say?
How did the kids treat you, being that you're from a different culture? Like, these are interesting pictures.
Lama Tenzin rescued, from an orphanage that is like a family home. So those children have been raised to embrace love, unity, oneness, and see people for their energy and not their skin color. And they see me. Lama told me that the most important thing that I can give them, even if I'm donating money to help them with their education, they all go to private school, by the way. Jarnell, 95, and Kathleen knows this, 95% of the orphanage is funded by the United States. And so Lama always has gratitude for that energy of giving and nurturing. And the way the kids embrace me is, Lama says he thinks that they see me as like a mother figure, like their mother, because I even went with him to pick the kids up from school in the school bus. You can just feel the love. So Jarnell, I feel like we have a loving, like it's a very nurturing, and they call me on the holidays. So it's really special. And Lama Tenzin, even though, obviously he says father of the universe, he's like acting both as the mother and the father. And that speaks to the point of single parents. So there are dads out there that they get a happy Mother's Day today too.
Yeah, definitely.
So let me know whatever else would help me out with the slides, but thank you.
It's great.
I think the next slide might be Jarnell talking about this nonprofit. And I don't know what the picture is per se, but what is this, Jarnell? Okay, Denise, we're looking at Jarnell, tell us about the picture we're seeing.
That is my grandma. She is definitely, if you see the caption of the words, this was around the time when I was first starting a business, Stokes Superfoods. And just seeing her, thinking about all my grandparents, I'm talking like my grandpa died from lung cancer, my great-grandma, uncles, aunties from it's all the same substances, which happen to be the competitors of CBD. So with that being said, and I'm also interested in the alternative approach. Our greatest strength is to be able to fight fight bad medicine. And with that being said, I'm just an advocate for alternative health, and my grandma has just given me a ton of wisdom when it comes to the medical field and how much alternative health can help. Like just seeing her pain, just imagine me growing up as a kid, and all my life it was always go help your grandma, get out the bed, or she was either fighting for her life, and she's been doing that since I was little. And the only way she's been able to make it through, which all her friends, she says, is only like one other person who was in that dialysis center that's still alive 20 years here today. So with that being said, alternative health has been just the answer.
Wow. And so your grandmother kind of inspired you to start the Stokes Superfoods.
Yeah, she definitely did. And with that in mind, I just freaking admire her. I couldn't imagine, doing another business. Like, she taught me one of the most valuable lessons that I can ever remember, and it was based on a history fact. She's very good with history, so I get a lot of my history from her. But she taught me that the World War II incident where Germany was doing all these Nazi camps and concentration camps, and they were experimenting on people so evil. I know, and this is going to hurt a lot of people to hear this, but a lot of those leaders after World War II left and escaped to South America and America. I mean, it's even documentaries out saying finding Hitler somewhere in South America or Australia or something, and what they did was they took that research in medicine and all of the evil things they were doing, and they integrated it to the United States curriculum here today that we know as the medical field. And I only say that to say that I have no issue with doctors or doctors that follow that field. I have an issue with the curriculum, and I started Stokes Superfoods to help people in an alternative way. That way, there's no excuse. And, there are certain people that would only believe what a doctor says, but superfoods are for those people who want to take responsibility for their own health, and they're their own leader. And with that in mind, that's what I'm living. I don't do this for money. Literally, I'm living health and wellness. That's how I keep it real every day. And I'm just excited. So everything that you see on the outside with my business, kids' books, are just external happenings of who I am as a person.
Dr. Denise?
I didn't hear most of what Jarnell said, and I think because I'm a doctor, it would be really important that I did hear what he said. So can someone recap it? Because I'm also a Western medicine doctor who integrates East and West, and I believe that the truth often lies somewhere in the middle. And I don't disagree that there's people that have agendas, that there's been abuse of different cultures. But I know as a doctor with 40,000 hours of patient experience that I always try prevention first. I look at the scientific method. It doesn't mean I trust every source of data or scientific research, but it means we have to do the best we can, whether we're practicing in East or West or both, an integrative approach. And I also think that this is a very important topic that we want to keep moving along with Mother's Day, but Jarnell and I are going to go deeper with these thoughts in another discussion and really honor this.
Well
Looking
put.
forward.
Dr. Denise, you have, talking about East versus West, you have an interesting endeavor that you're doing with Aliki One. Can you tell us about it?
Well, so first of all, everything we're talking about is maternal and honoring maternal energy. And I actually am getting chills talking about this because Aliki One stands for oneness. So our words, thoughts, and actions, the food we eat, the people we hang out with, the jewelry we wear, the music we listen to, all carries its own meaning and frequency. So Aliki One, here we go. It's co-created with Dr. Denise Berger. It's one-of-a-kind collection, and it's intended to inspire higher consciousness. So each piece of jewelry has its own name. One's Cartia, Genetiki, Siban, and Areti. And they're all based on Greek words, and they each have consciousness definitions. Because this ties in with when you start a company or a vision. So this jewelry, 21% of every bracelet, and now I'm also wearing the necklace today. It was my gift to myself for Mother's Day. Every 21% goes to Lama Tenzin Chagall's mission. And one is helping the girls at the orphanage. And two, look at this. This pink pad kit is his next endeavor. It lasts a maximum of 12 months. It's going to allow girls to stay in school or work all year round. The pink pad kit is actually menstrual pads. In India, only 20% of the women actually have proper hygiene for menstrual time of the month. And so this project's going to allow girls and women to stay in school and work. And so 21% of every bracelet goes to that Dharma mission. And then specifically, I love this because this ties in with honoring maternal energy. So the Siban, I'm going to read that to you right now, what it means. So here we go. Siban, that's this piece of jewelry. Essence, the universe, universal presence, believing in the unlimited potential of the feminine energy, seeking universal inspiration for all people, imagining possibilities without boundaries, promoting unity and oneness in the universe. So that's a leaky one. There's different pieces of jewelry, and 21% of it goes towards the Dharma mission. And we'd like to have events in the future to inspire others to do this, like Jarnell's giving back. I think that the Give It Forward Together concept is another reason why I would love to show that picture of Jarnell and I, because I feel that we both have that desire of, by the way, the screen's frozen, everyone, but we both have that
Yeah, I see
desire.
the picture.
Yeah.
Tell me what picture's
Las
up.
Vegas.
Yeah, that's Jarnell and I. By the way, this has to do with how you make connections. So Jarnell's energy and my energy attracted because we both wanted to inspire others for education, wellness, and I think that Jarnell's mission of giving back, whether you want to say pay it forward, give it forward together, is a component of everything we think about. And Kathleen, like you being on the show or us doing the show today, we want to connect with people. We also want to hear other people, other viewers' opinions of other topics we want to cover. Right, Jarnell?
Definitely, 100%. I love it. And I remember this picture. I was in the summer league at this time, and we were just conspiring about ways to come together to give back. So this just highlights where we are and how far we've came. Like, what a great time we had.
Yeah. So that's, by the way, everyone, that's Jarnell and I in 2018. And I gave him a book called Hey, Sports Parents, because I was really blessed. I wanted to show Jarnell. I played sports growing up, so we also have that knowledge of the discipline of athletics. And so in that book, I wrote an excerpt or a chapter called Youth Athletics as Mind Medicine for Life. And so that's another way that Jarnell and I really connect.
Yeah. I remember you asking me, like I was heading after this picture, I was heading back into the hotel, and you asked me, Jarnell, why aren't you going the other way? It was like Party Central right behind us. And that was, going back to what you said about discipline and how we were just on this journey together to stay focused. Even though we were in Vegas, you could have been on Tinder, I could have been down the street at the club, and we were talking about how we can help and build Keep It Real.
Wow, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I didn't even gamble once that weekend. I just was focused on meeting you. Nice. And then I did have a friend come meet me, and I did an interview. But I also think that even our discipline today, like the show must go on, even though we're having like these Zoom challenges, right? I think it's really important, everyone. Like, we're honoring mothers, but part of being raised well in a nurturing home is learning how to adapt. So I really want to thank you guys for this show today. And did we miss any?
We have one more thing we're going to do. There was a quote that you wanted to, and it's a great way to end the show, guys.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, everyone, I'm a firm believer. Did you guys have the picture up?
We do.
Okay, this is amazing. So everyone, I love this. Maybe the reason why we had some difficulties, I pulled this up. This is so important in honoring maternal energy. Here's a quote from the Dalai Lama. First of all, it says, Dalai Lama, women with power can bring a compassionate revolution. My mother first gave me the gift of a woman's compassion. Now, the next generation of women must bring this compassion into positions of power. So I just want to thank you, because that's so true. We need to integrate compassion and nurturing into our political arenas, our schools, our homes, and all the shows that we see. And we also, besides the maternal energy, I want to add, we need to also honor all racial backgrounds and all opinions. That's part of my being a mother of the universe. Everyone's voice has meaning to me. I don't care what your education, your skin color, your gender, your sexuality, you matter. And that is the kind of message I want to give to the world. And I want to thank you guys, because Jarnell, even knowing you, I have such maternal feelings towards you, and Kathleen, I have such nurturing feelings towards you both. So I want to thank you for sharing this time today.
Thank you. We got it done.
Yay.
We got it done.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day,
Mother's
everyone.
Day.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Keep It Real. Actually, we want to know how you keep it real and other topics you want us to cover.
We're reading all of them. Let us know.